All right, so good morning and welcome, FYI family. Welcome to our broadcast. Good to see so many of you on the live this morning, wherever you're joining us from. Great to see you guys here. Happy Tuesday. It's Tuesday, the 7th day of January. I have to check it for myself. The kids were back to school yesterday. Hope you guys had a good time sending your kids off. I know it can be hectic. We know it can be hectic. We got kids of our own. We hope that you guys got through that okay. I know even in the north, way up north, where you all probably happy the Christmas is done because of the weather, and you all might get back to some semblance of sanity coming out of that cold. But if you guys did get your kids off yesterday and in record, efficient fashion, congrats to you guys. The kids went off, and I know we could all use a little break now, can't we? We don't want to admit it, but we could all use a little break. Good morning to each and every one of you, wherever you wonderful and fantastic, beautiful folks are joining us from. We are privileged to have you guys here with us. It's truly a privilege. It's another day, folks, and we're going to try to get things a little better. And the year is off to a rough start here. We try and cover as much as we can because we know just how much you folks value valid and credible information. And we have not made some of these plugs in a long time, but if you can support us in one way or the other, guys, please do that. We have a couple issues we want to share with you folks for another 45 minutes perhaps. Things we think you ought to be thinking about as you start the day to day, especially if you live in Guyana. And we know how much those of you who in the diaspora are still very concerned about your homeland. So we thank you guys for joining us. Thank you guys for all of your support, especially in this new year. It's an election year. It's election year. What can we say? We just got a little cup here. You know how we just got a little cup here, minding our own business, folks. Minding our own business, and it's getting a little crazy out there. Not plenty, just a little bit, and just a little crazy. Happy that so many of you are joining us this morning. We can take you through the paces with some of it. Silly season, coming into it. Perhaps that's why we're seeing so much anxiousness from the PPPC and their supporters. That's why we're seeing a little giddy up out of them. Yes, PP and their supporters. You know what the folks say? Rain can't fall, Jew can't fall it neither. Rain can't fall, Jew can't fall neither. So welcome, guys, wherever you're joining us from. I see the multitude of you. We're going to try to stick in some comments here and there. But we're so happy to have you all around our breakfast table. Warm cup of coffee this morning. Warm cup of black coffee. Don't cost a living. Creamer, the creamer. Creamer little thingish. Those of you who would have spent Christmas with us, thank you guys so much. I saw some folks got stuck someplace, one of the airlines. Yeah, one of the airlines. I saw my airline of choice got third best in the hemisphere for arriving on time. That's one of the reasons why I went back. I tried to cheat on them with another airline. It didn't work out so well. I went back. The cost is a little higher, but for the efficiency, for the consistency, showing up on time, leaving on time, and there. So welcome to all of you who you are with us. Didn't have a chance to say it before. Welcome. Hope the Guyanese Christmas was refreshing. I hope it was refreshing. Wherever you came from. And I'm so happy that lots of you are in different parts of the world. And you're really holding it up for us. Holding it up for us. Flying that flag high. Flying that flag high. I saw our sister Shelley G on Christmas Eve, I think it was, in the snow. And she was saying, my God, it's cold, it's cold, it's cold. And I was trying to catch up with the singing sensation, Shelly G. Right? Shalon Garway is her real name. We know her as Shelly G. And in another video, I saw her, pushing the snow off her vehicle. And with the advent of technology, all that could be a thing of the past. I saw the Chinese brothers and sisters creating a car that shakes itself. Shakes itself. You press a button, there's not the hydraulic bouncing up and down. I mean, that could work too, to get the snow off. You start your car and then you put it in that shake mode. Shakes off the snow for you. So we're working smarter. We're not necessarily going to be working harder, folks. A couple of things making the trend this morning. Yep. Silly season. Good morning to all of you in the diaspora. Holding it up for us. Holding it up for us. We are so grateful and thankful. So grateful and thankful. Let's start at the bottom. Azruddin Mohammed. You know what I love about this whole period? You know what I love about this whole period? As I said, it's so anxious, flighty, anti-banter, bizda-bazda. How the people are getting. I mean, Azruddin Mohammed has not said, I'm running for anything, I'm considering running. Just put out a New Year's message. Just put out a New Year's message. And the PPP letter, right? Just get it. We should have had, no disrespect. or as them boys say in the streets before the last year, with all due respect, we should have had Glenn Lal in this mix here. Had Glenn Lal photograph in this graphic. You just put out a little something, like a teaser. Who was advising Azruddin Mohammed? Go to the front of the class. I saw somebody in the comments recently and said, giving them sleepless nights. You see the bishop prophecy backfire. The bishop prophecy backfire. You all remember that old calypso that says, "Hope your wedding bells don't chime, mighty sparrow." Hope your wedding bells don't chime. Hope your prophecies backfire. Backfire. He promised the coalition sleepless nights. Well, surprise. Sleepless nights over there. Right. Nobody knows what Azruddin is doing. Nobody. One video. And it's not just the video. Because in politics, it's not just about that. You know what it's about in politics? It's the likes and the shares. That's why this program is what it is, because you guys show up. And you all like and you all share the program. The few of you. you all like and you all share the program. And that has been getting them boys bazda, bizda. It's been taking a toll on them. See, and they come and they listen and they make notes and then they say, where we got it now for slander and libel? How we gonna lock you up? Jagabats, trench crappos. Sleepless nights for them. Sleepless nights. We saw Mr. Norton in last week's press conference. Or was it this week? Yeah, last week's press conference. Last week, Friday, he said that by mid-month of this month, the opposition parties should be meeting. Does that include Azruddin and Bin Laden? I don't know these things. I stand at afar and watch. I do not know. The opposition party is going to be meeting and coming to a conclusion on what the WPA calls a grand opposition coalition. Grand, it sounds grand just saying. Grand opposition coalition is going to be meeting by mid-month. That's why he said, don't push us. Don't push we. That's what Mr. Norton said, you know. And I love what The WPA said in their press conference yesterday, another very, very substantive press conference out of a parliamentary opposition party, well, an opposition party, because the WPA will be the first to tell you we're not currently in the National Assembly. Very substantive press conference, and they raised this very issue of the grand opposition coalition. And Mr. Dr. David Hines, he said we can't speak for the other parties, right? But we want to see this. We want to see this. We believe it's the best opportunity, and we got to pick up the pace a little bit. I regret we're not farther along in this whole process here. I believe that we need every day on the ground as a collective. I'm pro-coalition. Right? I'm 150%. This is my true statement. I'm pro-coalition. I'm pro-coalition. I believe this is the way to go. This is the way to go. I'm pro-coalition. Mind you all saw the Canadian Prime Minister is stepping down. Trinidadian Prime Minister stepping down. But I love the master stroke Rowley pulling Trinidad and Tobago with Mr. Young. Stuart Young. Love it, love it, love it. Master stroke. Come look, trying to catch yourself there. But let me come back to our own grand opposition coalition. Here's some of what Dr. David Hines said in that press conference yesterday of the Working People's Alliance. Take a look, take a listen.
Grand opposition coalition. WPA has been bombarded with questions about our proposed grand opposition coalition to contest the election. We are guided on this issue by real politics. WPA realistically cannot win an election on its own. But for those who look to us for leadership, we have a responsibility to make their votes count. Hence, our embrace of coalition politics. Because the PPP has rejected all calls for a national all-party government after the elections, WPA embraces the next best option, a grand opposition coalition. Such a coalition would, in the first instance, remove the PPP from office, and secondly, lay the groundwork for a national government. We therefore do not see our role as creating a minority government. Any serious party must want a seat at the table to help make decisions that affect its supporters and the country at large. We also point to the experience of the minority government between 2011 and 2015. Experience has shown that the presence of a minority government made the situation worse than better. In that regard, WPA accepts a possible PNC-AFC-WPA coalition as the best option. While we would like to see a bit more movement in that direction, WPA respects the right of the other parties to make decisions as they see fit. However, from WPA's standpoint, two things appear to be evident. First, a majority of opposition supporters seems to want the coalition. Second, the ruling party prefers to contest the opposition as individual entities rather than as a coalition.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Hines, for that. Thank you so much for that, Dr. Hines. Thank you so much for that. You all heard that? Right? You can tell that has been very, very thought out. We're not getting involved. And I love, another thing I love about that is the pragmatism of Dr. Hines. Right? We deal with real politics, that's what he says. We know we can win as a party, right? But we have a vested interest that as a collective, we can win. We all can win as a collective. Folks, let me pick up the pace now. Let me pick up the pace a little bit now. Please and thank you. Could we pick up the pace just a little bit? Just a little bit. Could we pick it up, up, pick up the pace on this. So we're just as, I'm using the word excited reservedly, and I'll tell you why in a second. But we're very excited. Midman can't come fast enough. Let these guys meet, guys and gals, let them meet, sort out whatever it is that ails them, and let us come together and let us move this thing forward. Please and thank you. Could we do that already? Please and thanks. Let's do that, please. So that is where we are on the grand coalition. That's where we are on that, folks. And let us see what else we have for you guys this morning. Let us see what we are. Oh my Lord. I want you all to start the morning like, easy. Easy on a Sunday morning. That's my hope and dream for all of you. I'm gonna dash you already deep in the pool. Was that my wish? Huh? This scam grant, crash grant, something else, I'll tell you that. It is something else. It is something else. Right? Like, what's going on here? What's happening here? Brace it over for us. Good morning. Good morning, guys. Brace it over for us. What's happening here? What's going on? As I was just talking about Mr. Norton, he had some comments on this issue quite recently. Incompetence. And those of you who, you have a listening ear for what the opposition says and does. You know, those of you, let me qualify, those of you on the other side, on the political aisle, but you're open-minded, you're not closed to what the opposition says and does. You know we've been saying from the start, folks, this thing disorganized, it's chaotic, it's chaotic, it's incoherent. And the opposition laid out a whole menu of measures that should have been implemented before we got to where we are now. Right? Put this thing in legislation. Right? Systematize it. Something should kick in automatically. There's such a paucity of information. And that's the real problem here. There's such a paucity of information. People ask us all the time. We put out information because we know people want the information. People shooting blind, flying blind here. So we try to do our civic duty and put out a public service announcement, what's happening, where it's happening, as much as we know. And because we've been doing that, people reach out to us. Advise me here. You hear anything? People who have challenges physically, health-wise, they reach out to us. I can't make it to register. I can't manage that, I can't manage them lines. People tell us, I can't manage them lines. What should I do? Mr. Norton waded into some of this quite recently in their Friday press conference. Incompetence. This thing could have been done much better. Ladies and gentlemen, irrespective of which part of the political aisle you might find yourself, let us admit, we can't do this thing alone. This country is too big for 5 people to believe they alone have all the answers. And one would have thought the last 5 years the last 4 years rather, would have disabused us from that notion. Disabuse us from that. Give the opposition another thing. When we had the reins of government, we reached out to the PPP in a number of ways. We were criticized for it. But anything else, folks, in the 21st century is backwardness. Anything less in the 21st century is just backwardness. 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 Mr. Norton.
Opposition leader Aubrey Norton says that there is no reason why biometrics shouldn't be introduced for the next general and regional elections. To date, the Guyana Elections Commission is still to adopt a position on the use of biometrics for the elections. However, the People's National Congress reform has taken the opportunity to inform the international community of the developments.
There's no reason why we shouldn't get biometrics. No reason whatsoever. If Ghana can do 17 million people in under 2 months, why can Guyana do it with 750,000? The only reason we might not be able to do it is because of the incompetence of the government.
He said that should the government give the resources to the Guyana Elections Commission and allow the body to act independently, then there should be no problem. The GCOM commissioners have been meeting on the issue on at least 2 occasions. And Norton has said that he hasn't registered for the cash grant. He said that he refused to be a part of that process.
That there was no reason to ask people in the public service, the teacher service, the military, etc., the people who you pay every month, including me. I do not believe that it made sense for you to do another registration. And I was at Parliament when they were registering people, and I refused to register, even though Ashni Singh had already said, if you don't register, you can't get it. They can take it and put it where Paddy put the nuts.
But the party has helped many people, especially during the Christmas season.
I have helped people tremendously. I don't want to give all the details, but across the country, the PNC has helped people in every fashion you can think of, including entertaining the children, entertaining senior citizens. And we have engaged some of our members who have helped people. For instance, I don't want to call his name, but there's a young man in Sophia we helped to get into poultry, and he's doing well.
And despite the large sums of money at the disposal of the government, people are still suffering.
This is real money that the government should spend sensibly and give to our people. But they are so corrupt. Political parties and other non-governmental organizations have got to come in to help because they are not prepared to give a large amount of resources to the people. They are only prepared to give it to the family, the friends, and the favorites.
Norton said that the government is offering no cost of living relief.
So there you have it. The man himself. I don't envy that position, leader of the opposition, leader of the PNCR. The sheer weight and expectations on you. You know, I don't envy him at all. I don't envy him. You have to carry that. Don't envy him at all. I wish all our opposition party leaders, executives well in this new year. You know, summon all the strength and let's dig deep. Dig deep. Dig deep. You know, a lot of letters writing. Love it. We live in a country, a lot of letters writing. A lot of letters are being written. I'm a good measure. Guys, welcome to a broadcast. Wherever you're joining us from, thank you guys so much for joining us. Wherever. You know, y'all are rocking and coming from. Thank you guys so much for joining us this morning. We're effort. Let's talk about this one. G.H.K. Lal, fantastic writer. Fantastic writer. Fantastic writer. Yeah? I took a long time to talk properly as a child. I was a stuttering child. That's one of the reasons I talk so much. I was a stuttering child. Yeah. Forgive us if we got a couple glitches. We're just happy to be here with you. I was a stuttering child. You see, if I'm in a bus and I got to see the corner, I got to drum up in my mind half hour before I meet the corner to see the corner. It was that bad. So I think I have a special appreciation for language, for words, for how words fall together. And how those words in the old year's message, we ain't talking about Jagdio, New Year's message rather. We're not talking about Jagdio's New Year's message. We're talking about Irfan New Year's message. Words put together correctly. And then you add some humanity, you add some humility and genuineness to it. That's how I think about G.H.K. Lal. Fantastic. Fantastic writer and all the other hats he wears. A good person. In the letter in today's press, he talks too about this situation, the crash grant, and more in particular about our senior citizens having to endure the chaotic, chaotic process, leaving many, including of vulnerable pensioners, without clear next steps. One fellow reached out to us. He said, I was there to pick up my check at NAS. They told me the check was not available. Come back Monday, the 6th. He goes back. No cash grant distribution happening at NAS. No cash grant distribution happening. He says the cash grant people told him to come back. On Monday, he goes back. Place empty. Place empty. And here is G.H.K. Lal saying in this letter in today's press, despite the promises from President Irfan Ali, Vice President Jagdio, Finance Minister Ashley Singh, to prioritize pensioners and ensure timely payouts, numerous recipients remain unpaid. And you know our elderly, with the challenges of their age, pre-existing conditions, comorbidities, come back. Whole day, you're in a line. Things tight in this country. People endure it because they gotta make ends meet. Gotta make ends meet. Whole day you wait. You get to the front of the line. I must come back Monday. You gotta summon that energy and strength. Strength of mind, strength of body. Come from wherever you're coming from. And then you go out, place empty. No cash grant and sharing. You know? An elderly woman says, woman or man, I live at Parfait, Harmony. I check the system. They tell me go to Metamir Zorg. That's torture. Go to Metamir Zorg and we've told you. You've heard. In their own words, people say, we've been here since 4 a.m. 3:30 line up. Had to wait whole day, nothing doing. And then the indignity of them pulling people in front of you. Friends, family, and favorites. Lal says, right, the questions are lingering about the allocation of this $30 billion. Right? And the lack of updates for residents, for instance, in Region 4. You got to squeeze and ring them for information. It's not forthcoming likely. Squeeze and ring and fight them for information. Squeeze, ring and fight. All my life I've had to fight. So you got to deal with. So that's one letter in today's press. We just wanted to draw your attention to, as we heard it, one letter in today's press. And there's another one, by the way, there's another one in today's press as well. I did talk earlier about Glenn Lal, and we should have had him in that. We should have had him in that lineup. Right? Again, I say to you, you see letters about Azruddin. You've seen, I think, like Daily News gone crazy. Right? Wherever Azruddin do them, oh, y'all forgive you. They're gone crazy. The amount of conspiracy theories. They're running their own polls now. People don't like Azruddin. People don't like it. People are gonna like who they're gonna like. I never liked this thing about my spirit and tech. People got too much spirits. But people's spirits can tech who tech. People's spirit can tech who they tech. So here is, for instance, Dear That Sing. I don't know who's Dear That. But Dear That forgive Glenn Lal. Where we do you? Where we do you? Vishnu Bishram published a letter in which he's advocating, apparently, I didn't read the letter, for Glenn Lal to contest the 2025 election. Well, who tell Bishram to do that? Dear That Sing right behind you now for snatch and assault Vishnu Bishram. How dare you? Dare you, Bishram? How dare, this is Dear That. Right? Bishram saying Glenn Lal should get in the mix. According to Bishram's NACTA poll, saying it's questioning the credibility. Suddenly, you know, I never see saying questioning the credibility of Bishram's poll when it says PP gonna win, PP strong, PP doing well, earphone for life. I never see Bishram, I never see Dear That Sing. But this is the silly season. Vishnu Bishram says that Glenn Lal should throw his hat in the ring. Don't put your hand in the plow and then turn back. And here is Dear That Sing. Bizda Bazda. Confused. Confused. Confusion powder. Confusion powder. Confusion powder. Folks. Oh, oh, oh. Let people do them, the man. Let people do them. Some more confusion. Cord of confusion powder, High Street into Main Street. Corridor of confusion. Cord of confusion. Court of appeal and you go down. You go down and you go down and you go down for one time. And you go down and you go down and you go. In that Prime Minister's house, oh my Jesus. You drink half the bottle. confusion powder. You talk about lights and electricity and all kinds of excuses. He said, this could be the year of power. Power ship, gas to energy power. He needs some turpentine power. But let's start at the apex of confusion corridor. Corridor confusion. Why, Irfan, you're not coming out and appointing these distinguished daughters of Guyana to their substantive posts? And you know they get caught now, the back against the wall. If you could appoint Hickins with his challenges, if you could appoint Hickins with his what do you call it? Baggage. This is a man that reached out to stakeholders as the nanny, as the wedding planner, as the RG, or as the RJ. He reached out. He collected money. The vice president himself said reprehensible. Reprehensible. And then you got these women languishing. You know, I would pay to be a fly in the wall. I wonder if Chief Justice Roxanne George is called Acting Chancellor, Acting Chief Justice, Acting Chancellor. Yonette Cummings Edwards. And they talk about this matter. So you see this talk about here. Huh? I wonder when they meet and, you know, do they trust a telephone or they meet in person and they look these scams here. But I blame Auntie. I blame Auntie. I'm just being facetious, folks. In her rationalization of the law, she did what she did. And I don't fault her. I don't fault her. Right? We gotta live our best lives and then let history deal with we. I know history gonna be unkind to Irfan. History gonna be unkind to Jack Dio. How Jack Dio? Take a page out of Canadian Prime Minister book. Justin Trudeau. Take a page out of Keith Rowley, Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago's book. How much is enough? Give Irfan a little space to breathe in the final days. Give him a little space to breathe. There was a show of support yesterday by citizens, professional women especially, outside of the Court of Appeal. One of those persons is a very own MP Annette Ferguson. And it made a lot of sense, as usual. A lot of sense in what she said on this issue. A lot of sense. Take a listen.
I recall it may not have been from an individual level, but collectively in the National Assembly, we are on record. We are on record. Same to the government in the National Assembly that it is time for these women to be appointed. Just a couple of weeks ago, or a couple of days ago, I have written a letter to the editor calling for the appointments of these women in the National Assembly and out of the National Assembly. We have been making the call for these women to be appointed. Again, why the reluctance from the government? Why? These are the very women who served under the previous administrations. They serve, they may not have served at the highest, at the levels of the Chief Justice or the Chancellor, but they were judges in their own right. As I said before, the records of these women performance, I think, is above excellence. And as a woman, I believe that they are deserving the right to be appointed. Just follow the Constitution. What more all they want? Norton is on record saying appoint the people. Harmon, former leader of the opposition, is on record calling for the women to be appointed. Civil society groups have been making or adding their voices. So I'm out here standing in full solidarity for the appointments of Justices Cummins and George. May God richly bless us all.
Yep. I did tell you. A lot of sense. Two opposition leaders says they're in agreement. Even you're the problem. You're the problem. You're the problem. And I did say both ladies served as directors of public prosecutions. And if they've served as directors and could be acting Chief Justice and acting Chancellor, then the current DPP could also serve. That's it. Now there's a thought. There's a thought. You know, there's a thought. I remember a short line in Shakespeare's a turn the thought. Turn from it. Turn from it. Well, now the Irfan was worried about, he said he was concerned about CCJ overturning local cases. CCJ got to do what CCJ got to do. CCJ don't like the DPP current. You see the amount of times they upbraided her? The amount of times? So if you if you know once the case is overturned, you don't make the mistake. With all due respect to the Director of Public Prosecution, Shali Marali Hack. You all make the mistake. You all make the mistake. Let us now turn our attention to a couple other things. We're watching the time here. Good morning, guys. How are you doing? Happy New Year if we haven't said this yet. Have we told you lately how we feel? Have we told you there's no one else above you? You take away all our sadness. You fill our lives with gladness. You know what? Ease my troubles. That's what you do. Somebody, that sounds like some nice words. Somebody should make a song with that already. So, somebody should make a song with that already, folks. Please and thank you. Make a song with that already. As we watch to the top of the hour, folks, let's touch on a couple other things. A couple other interesting things. For another 10 minutes or so. For another 10 minutes or so. In other news, in other words. All manner of things happening, folks. All manner of things happening. In other news, some of the other things we found. The same crash grant, scam grant issue. Short man, shorter balls, Ashini, short stuff. And she said, no need to worry. No need to worry. He said, don't worry. Be happy. When you see a confusion powder system, you ain't gonna worry. He said government gonna give you the cash grant. If you miss it, you don't bother. This is according to, I see a lot of news media say finance minister. He's not. He's a minister in the office of the president, installed, albeit. He's a minister within the office of the president. And they did that with good reason. He's minister within, and he has responsibility for finance, but he's not the finance minister. They are two substantively different things in and of themselves and in the eyes of the law. He said, don't bother. We got y'all. No one will be excluded. That's what he says. Nobody gonna be excluded. We committed to inclusivity. Don't worry. If we glitching like Mitch, if we got a glitch this morning like Mitch, forgive us. But again, this is the minister within with responsibility for. He says you're a fisherman, you're a miner, you're out of the country. We're gonna fix you up. You know what's the real problem here? Trust. People don't trust the people. People don't trust. You know why? Because past behavior is a good predictor of future behavior. How many guys still got the pink slip? Guys, don't be ashamed. You got the pink slip, raise your hand. How many people still got the pink slip? Good folks? How many of us still got the pink slip? And we're in a holding pattern. And you asking us to trust that you bring back this money. That's why I tell people, it's your money, go out for it. Go out. I know some of y'all iffy. You know? And you know another thing too? I've noticed a certain posture with Guyanese. They don't want to be seen collecting this cash grant. It's like if you're Deba, that's how they feel. It's help, it's charity, it's you money. The oil out there belongs to all of us. You're supportive of the PPP, WPA, PNCR, AFC. It belongs to every Guyanese. The resource of this country. Nobody ain't doing you no favor. Money don't spoil. Rich people out there, billionaires, they're retired. They're still out there earning, trying to earn, investing. So some of you think somehow it's a statement. I'm not collecting that. I'm not going to debase myself. Folks, we got a lot of things we can do with money wrong this side. Just in case. You know? If you don't do it for yourself, do it for others. I'm not going to bring myself down to that level. Okay. Every guy needs to know by now. Nothing going back. Right? If anything, going to the back. Going to the back. You're not going back to Treasury. Right? You ain't going back to Parliament who approved it. So come on, folks. Wise up. Collect your money, it's your own. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Please and thank you. And then power concerns. Power concerns. Here's the Prime Minister saying by the third quarter of 2025, gas and energy project is going to be bringing power to the grid. Oh, Jesus, give us a break. Oh, Father, give me a break. Oh, Father, give us a break. That's what he says. That's what he says. Nice time. Trust. Is the issue of trust. We ain't trust nothing you say, PM. You promise to make a lot of things public, a lot of contracts, and so on. Guyanese people still waiting on the shame on you. Robert Sam Phillips, shame on you. Shame on you. Which brings us to this other headline today. Them boys saying that their government has unprecedented record, has an unprecedented record of accessibility and transparency. Case in point, all the promises by Phillips. How are we going to make this contract available, that contract? We're going to do this, that. And then you got his little child here. This is what propaganda looks and sounds like. We have an unprecedented record of accessibility and transparency. Really? I mean, like, God, like, really? Really? Really now? You know, look around for approval. Really? Huh? Really? Okay. Okar. You know, I pity people, right, who run from the opposition to the opposition. How we go, Selma? Is Selma his name? Salem? Saliva? What was his name? One of the real political stalwarts and activists. Remember the lady who ran from the opposition to the opposition? Enter Craig. Some of them is making shame for identified FC, you know. Maybe that's the plan. Shame. You know. You left the woman. Oh, she can't cook. She can't clean. Right? She can't wash. Go about your business. More power to you. Find one who can. But look, Lot's wife here now. She looking back all the time. She, Lot's wife. He looking back. Looking back. I have had a couple relationships in my time. I've had a couple. You know? I have never breathed a word. Not even male friends. You know? Not even to my wife about some of them. Or any of them. We're too busy living life. Too busy with us. Too busy. You wouldn't take another woman just for the saying, you see the one night? Eh? She's a bad woman, you know. She's a bad woman. Look what she do to me. Eh? Look in your house. You see this brother, she on here? You see the sister over there? You looking back. So emblematic of PPPites reversing into the future. So they send out Craig now. They send out Craig. Bewes Dung. Dr. Vincent Adams. On what? Oil and gas. Profit oil. Now, Dr. Vincent Adams are those Guyanese that cut from a different cloth. And then, you know what? They're emblematic of Guyanese. Everywhere. Hardworking, bright. And this is not people tell you they're bright. Right? You say, oh, that's a bright boy. They got the papers. Dr. Vincent Adams, doctor. Right? Chinaman, doctor. Studied for this thing. And based on what he wrote in his papers, his doctoral thesis and dissertation, people say, yeah, tech doctor. And awarded him a PhD. There's not PhD in. I don't even want to belittle any vocation. Oil and gas, petroleum. When you hear Dr. Adams on these issues, he understands them not by just reading 2 articles and trying to appear smart. He's worked in the highest levels of the US government. Then compare him to a man that the APNU AFC sent on a PhD scholarship and land back. We still looking for the we still looking for the certification. Right? Craig, how they going for you? You gonna run out here now attacking a real doctor. It's envy, you know. Right? It's envyism, envication, envyology. It's envy. Right? So the cancer doctor, right, touch up with another cancer doctor, and they're now confusing down the real doctor. Say, we know more oil and gas than you that study it. And it's fascinating. It is fascinating. We know more about it. Fascinating. The extended squatter, according to Paul Slow, with all due respect, the asterisk Commissioner of Police. There's a headline in today's papers. You know, this had appeared in New Nation. I would say it's them boys slighting he. Them boys being facetious. If this had appeared in the Kia, they said, like, huh? Right? You're wicked like Craig. But this pro-government. Today is the dawn of a new era. An era. Depends on which school you went to. The dawn of a new era, he says. Corruption stops now. Today, 7th day of January, corruption stops now. So we're no longer reaching out to stakeholders to fund weddings and so on in a reprehensible manner, according to the Vice President. Corruption stops now. Punto final, no. Corruption stops. No. Folks, we don't have the time to develop on that. That's what the man says. And we wanted to deep dive into this other issue with you guys, this morning. But we're going to leave it substantively to be appointed in our night program. Right? We'll leave it to be substantively appointed there. And this has to do with several schools, especially in Linden, that remain closed. Remember last term, as that August term started, a couple of schools did not open same way. It's like the new school term is sneak up on the administration. They said the schools and dormitories were under repairs. MP Devin Sears put out a statement on this. Several schools in Linden. I wanted to deep dive into this morning. But permit us, we're going to circle back to it in an even more substantive way in our night broadcast. That being said, folks, we're going to leave it there. That's our time for today, and that's our program. Thanks for being here with us. Thanks for all those comments. Sorry we didn't have a chance this morning to get into all of them. We wanted to get down to business. Thank you, folks, so much for joining us. That's our time, good folks. And that's our program. Stay safe.